After the death of an inmate, court documents depict an assault at Marcy Correctional Facility, providing more detail into alleged violence against inmate Robert Brooks ahead of body camera footage being released. 7 News reporter Mark Mason Jr. has the latest.
In court documents, New York State Investigator Ryan Paparella described the alleged violent involvement of several corrections officers in an assault of inmate Robert Brooks at Marcy Correctional Facility near Utica. Brooks died soon after. In court documents, Paparella states body camera footage shows corrections officer Nicholas Anzalone carrying Brooks face down and handcuffed behind his back to the prison's infirmary. Anzalone then strikes Brooks several times, grabbing him by the neck area of his shirt while other officers assaulted the inmate. In more court papers, Paparella says another officer, Robert Kessler, is seen assisting Anzalone in carrying Brooks to the infirmary. While inside, Kessler pushes Brooks into a wall. According to the documents, Officer Matthew Gallagher is also seen inside the infirmary, pressing his right hand to Brooks' chest, pushing him down and holding him to a bed. Paparella's deposition also says the video shows CO David Kingsley and Anzalone holding Brooks in an upright position while he bled from his face, and later that they appear to be using their hands to apply pressure to an unknown part of his upper body. CO Anthony Farina is also named as a person who strikes Brooks in the video. Multiple others are seen restraining or carrying him at different times. The documents say medical staff are also seen treating Brooks on an exam table while COs surround him. Brooks was later taken to Wynn Hospital in Utica, where he was pronounced dead. Preliminary findings from the Onondaga County Medical Examiner's Office show Brooks died from asphyxia due to compression to the neck. Sumit Sharma, the director of watchdog group the Correctional Association of New York, or CANY, says they weren't surprised.
We went to Marcy in 2022. 80% of people who we spoke to on that monitoring visit said yes, they had seen or been personally subject to verbal, physical, or sexual abuse by staff at Marcy.
According to one person CANY interviewed, quote, "Physical abuse is rampant. The CO told me when I got here, this is a hands-on facility. We're going to put hands on you if we don't like what you're doing," end quote. When this was found, CANY reported it to the state.
Actually called in that report for the State Inspector General and Doctor's Office of Special Investigations to look into and investigate those allegations and violations of human rights.
Sharma says he doesn't believe there was a follow-up. Details regarding the officers' involvement came from a recent extreme risk protection order against the officers. The order would allow a search of the CO's persons, homes, and vehicles and would result in the confiscation of their firearms. That order was declined by a judge. A hearing was scheduled in the case for January 7th. Court records indicate one officer has already surrendered his department-issued firearm. The body cam footage described is expected to be released by the Attorney General's office this week. Mark Mason Jr., 7 News.